Peace, welcome back. It is O.G.B.O. This is Omega Man Codes, and this segment is prison terms and sexual behaviors explained. Listen, if you have noticed, I've really been putting these videos up. I don't know what day this video would be loaded, but I've done 3 so far today, and I probably upload the other 2 first. Kind of want to save this one for last. And I did another video for my other page, O.G.B.O. Presents the Reset. Listen, if you're a subscriber here, subscribe. If you're not, but if you are, go to my other page, O.G.B.O. Presents the Reset, and subscribe and like. I'm giving a whole nother type of content on that page. I need to get my subscriptions up. You know, YouTube is making money off of my content, but until I have, I believe, 2,000 subscribers, I won't see a penny. In fact, I was locked out of this page for like 8 months, and my views were like 1.5 million. YouTube got paid off my content, but justified not giving me anything. And that's what it is. My children's mother reminded me the other day that this is their platform. So, you know, it is what it is until we put our own platform together. Until then, we just follow the rules, okay? But subscribe for me, like, and share the content. Okay, this story is dealing with a young white guy who was known as Buck White. I didn't give him that name. That was his name. I assume it was because he carried himself, and I hate stereotypes, but he carried himself as a black guy, for lack of a better word. The music he listened to, how he dressed, the sagging pants, and I hate that, for that to be considered black or dressing black, but it's hard to defend against it when it's all in our music. You know, our movies always, show us with our pants sagging, and, so it's recognized as dressing black. But anyway, Buck White was out of Portsmouth. This is a sad story which ends tragically. But I'm gonna put this content out there. If you can gain anything from it, hopefully, then at least some good came out of it. But anyway, Buck White was charged with manslaughter. If I'm not mistaken, he was driving recklessly, and he had his niece in the car with him, a little girl, maybe 6 or 7, and she went through the windshield and she died, and he was sentenced to like 16 years or so. So anyway, I meet Buck White of Southampton. Immediately, when Buck White got to Southampton, I noticed he started hanging with, the black people. The white people probably wouldn't have accepted him anyway. I'm talking about white people who identified as, Nazis and white power and, those type of white people. They certainly wouldn't have accepted a white guy who looked to be trying to be black. Okay, but not only was he hanging with black people, he was hanging with what I call renegade 5%ers. I say renegade, you will understand why as I get into telling this story. Um, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the 5% Nation of Gods and Earth, they are a group that was founded by Father Clarence 13X, who they refer to as Father Allah, who was a member in the Nation of Islam. When he parted with the Nation of Islam, he took the lessons that we refer to as the Department of Supreme Wisdom. They term those lessons the 120 lessons. He took it to the youth. Maybe I would do a video on that one day, just explaining some things. But you can see his influence in early hip hop. You know, Big Daddy Kane, Rakim. Many of them were quoting the lessons. We didn't know it at the time. But I self, Lord and Master, poor righteous teachers. Remember that song, Rock This Funky Joint. I self, Lord and Master Islam. Right? But a lot of that was due to Father Clarence 13X. Okay? But Buck White, he was hanging with them. Right? And at some point they had him quoting lessons. You know, and it was amusing to me, to tell the truth, to hear a white man, a Caucasian, refer to himself as a devil, and it was kind of funny to me. But what happened next is anything but funny. Some kind of way, they get him to drink with them in a cell. And while he was intoxicated, he asked for a cigarette. Now, this is where the devil came out in these brothers. A lot of older convicts will offer you something or give you something that you request. And after you, say for an example, a cigarette, after you smoke it, they will ask you to give them that same cigarette back. Now, obviously, you can't return something that already been consumed. So they would turn up on you. Listen, man, you're going to have to get that back or you're going to have to drop your drawers. And that was sort of kind of what happened to Buck White. While intoxicated, I used to drink. For those of you who drink, you know when you drink, you want to smoke, right? I think he was maybe in about 5 cigarettes. And the next day, something happened, you know, but basically one of the guys told him, listen, man, I'm gonna need them cigarettes back that you smoked. And he like, you know, what you mean? Like, I'm gonna need them cigarettes back. He was like, well, you know, I got you on commissary, I get it back. He's like, no, I need those cigarettes that you smoked back, or you're gonna have to drop your drawers. Now he thinking they joking with him because before this day, you know, it was all love, handshakes and embracing and, you know, quoting lessons. He thinking they're joking. And one of them smacked him in his face. And he realized immediately that he was being done dirty. Now, I wasn't around to witness this. This is from what people told me later. But at some point, they talked him into going into one of the cells to work the situation out. By working the situation out, I'm assuming he's thinking that, you know, they're going to double up, you know, tell him to pay, you know, a pack for the 5 cigarettes that he smoked or whatever. But their idea of working it out was taking his manhood. And they get him in the cell. I don't know the details. They say Buck White had some man in him and he tried fighting. But when it's 2-on-1 and they're big and bulky and you're a little short guy, I mean, Buck White might have been 5'6", you know, it's only so much fighting you can do. After a tussle ensued, they pulled his pants down and, they took his manhood from him. And it broke him. It broke him, you know. He goes to the infirmary, gets stitched up or whatever, but he don't tell, what happened. They let him back out. But listen, in prison culture, once you have your manhood taken from you, any respect you had is gone. Not only that, but you're going to have to make a decision, which is, are you going to give in and become a homosexual? Choose you a boyfriend in hopes of doing the rest of your time in some measure of peace? Or you going to kill somebody and get life on top of whatever your sentence is? Unfortunately, those are your choices. Because even if you put in for a transfer, every place you go, your prison history goes with you. Somebody's going to be there to let other people know what happened to you. And the same type of treatment you're running from is going to follow you, right? So Buck White was cool with me, but he had his manhood taken from him, and I'm not going to put myself in a position where I'm trying to defend someone. I'm inheriting all their enemies, I'm just not going to do that. And that, a lot of people will put in the comments, why didn't, and somebody put in a comment one time, why didn't somebody step up and help him? Prison is different. In prison, if you don't defend yourself, ain't nobody coming to your aid. When they had him in that cell, he should have stabbed one of them. He should have bit one of them, bit a jugular vein, bit a penis off. He should have did something. He stood his ground. He tussled, but he just ain't do enough. But had he done that, they wouldn't have broke him. They wouldn't have took his manhood from him. You can't take a manhood if you missing a penis. You understand me? Or you're bleeding from your neck. But he didn't do that. They took his manhood from him. So, he'll walk around the yard and, he's being disrespected. People petting him on his backside. One of these so-called 5%ers, and I say so-called because I have no respect for that. And that's not what the 5% nation of gods and earth teach. Let me say that part. They don't teach that. They teach manhood, respect for all people, regardless of race, creed, or color. Let me stand on that, and this is why I refer to them as renegade. They were out of pocket, so-called 5%ers, let me put it that way. One of them was negotiated selling him. to someone else, for a couple of packs of cigarettes. And the guy pulled up on him on the yard like, you mine. And it was a sad thing to see, and there's no way I could tell this story to really get you to give you the imagery, you know. But it was real sad to see, because when you break a man, you take his manhood from him, you kill him psychologically, you know. The man don't even look at you the same way, At one time, he might hold his head up high, have some pride, some dignity. Now he's walking around with his head tucked, just looking broken. And so the guy pulled up on him that one of the so-called 5%ers sold him to and was telling him, you mine, you know. And he walked off with him. Where they went, I don't know, but I believe he went and he had his way with him too. But the sad part to the story, as if that's not sad enough, we wake up like 2 days later, and they don't open none of the cells up. They don't release the dorms, and Buck White was found hanging from his cell. It's believed that he killed himself. Listen, these stories I tell, they're real, and I'm hoping you share these stories with your nephews, your sons, your cousins, your friends, those young brothers that you see out here wilding. Let them know. Share these videos with them, because this is the side that they don't show you. This happens. When you out here breaking laws, you out here busting heads, you out here wilding, they don't tell you. You can go to prison and you can become a Buck White. You can come to prison, you can become a Lil' Kim. Listen, subscribe, support, share, leave comments. Again, go to my other page, O.G.B.O. Presents The Reset, where I'm giving you a whole nother style of content. And till next time, peace.